But no, their meeting room was really, it had a big table like this and it was so pretty.
Mike and Gavin staying nearby for the winter or? Until they get foundation. Oh, wow. Absolutely. Trees down.
Okay, it's 9 o'clock and we're live and ready when you are.
I was upstairs, my office, and the sun comes in the morning, so it's usually like one of the.
I'm trying it. Why not?
That's good.
I know. Yeah, so that.
All right. I call to orders the counties of Warren and Washington Industrial Development Agency Executive and Park Committee meeting on October 9th, 2024 at 0900. Roll call, Ally.
John Taflin. Tim Robinson.
Here.
Juan Gonzalez.
Here.
We have a quorum. We have 3 out of 5.
Great. Everybody received in the read ahead the minutes of the September 4th, 2024 IGA Executive Park meeting. I would entertain a motion to accept those minutes. Tim, second? Yeah, any discussions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed or abstained? None. Motion carries. All right, report of committees. We'll turn this over to Chuck. And Dan is not with us today.
Yeah, unfortunately, Dan couldn't join us, so we'll start obviously with canal side initiatives, with our bi-weekly meeting on the infrastructure project in LaBella last week. We received an interesting curveball. Nothing that's not insurmountable, but certainly a curveball. As you might recall, the sewer wastewater portion of the project is about $2.6 million, and that is assuming that the stormwater offset required by the DEC would be funded externally. And while the DEC has approved the offset plan, the water district or the sewer district applying for funding did not receive the funding. And the price tag for the offset is $9 million. Obviously something that is not affordable right now. So what that does is it gives us a curveball on the idea of connecting with the Washington County Sewer District. So what we're looking to do now is to go back to the options analysis, which you might recall included an on-site treatment facility, and visited that option. Perhaps to be a smaller capacity system, because in the original options analysis, the price tag is $4.9 million rather than 2.6. That's a big gap. The one thing we can do is modify the scope and perhaps make it a smaller system, but make it expandable. And that actually makes us a little flexible as we look at tenants, possible tenants coming to the area. So again, a curveball doesn't put us down and out. We have a meeting in LaBella today at 1 o'clock to hear their initial, just LaBella. They said they had some ideas. They wanted to meet with us separately. So we have a meeting today with them at 1, and then we'll reconvene the full committee next Wednesday.
Is there a reason they didn't get the grant? They're granted getting money?
The sewer district, we have limited visibility as to their actual application process or why. Called some elected officials and they didn't know either. It's something that apparently the water district does and sends its application and hopes it gets a positive response, and just simply didn't. And the attorney suggested that they put a lot of effort into this, and they are very, of course, very disappointed.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure whether it was a half-hearted effort, full effort.
It sounds like a full effort.
Just
Yeah.
in its forward.
Which you think.
Right. But it was what we called the white elephant in the room on last Wednesday. And finally, we kind of pulled the information out and said, uh-oh, okay, Houston, we have a problem. But again, we're reconvening on how to address it.
The original on-site plan, you said something about.
It was the original on-site facility was for 100,000 gallons per day, as is the option that we picked to connecting to the sewer. Obviously, $4.9 million, we don't have all the funding to that at this point, but perhaps we do, for example, 40,000 gallon system, make it expandable. So as we look for someone that might buy the site, it would be a major tenant, then perhaps we can expand it if necessary. Did I explain that right? Anything
No,
else
that,
to add?
that's great. And then some of I think some of the small bites we've had, we're at 40,000 gallons a day needed. And as long as we build the base model that is expandable, that gives us, good cost, benefits to, being able to bring in somebody else that if they need to expand the site, expand that treatment facility, they can. John, did you have something?
More to come. More to come.
But that's just the wastewater. Water,
Yeah, water's good. As you might recall, water estimate was $3 million. That's includes not only piping, but the tank system for fire suppression. So that is still obviously a go, and we are advancing that portion of the project. That's really it for the infrastructure project, unless there are any questions. I can move into maintenance updates.
The only thought they had on that, talk to the fellow. You may want to give some thought, you're looking at more than just sanitary waste coming from like a residential subdivision. Hopefully Labella's got some ideas that they can do a little bit of projection or get an idea on handling some more, but stronger industrial waste.
100%. And there's issue with the industrial waste. And what if you bring a food processing company?
It's,
And it's all over the place,
yeah,
right?
exactly, you've got a very wide spectrum.
So when we talked about expandability, it was not only in capacity, but the ability to handle the treatment. topics. So, yeah, absolutely.
The strength of waste can be all over the place.
Yeah. Okay, good, thank you. On the maintenance, our vegetation is still wild as ever. Everett continues to tackle it. We are continuing to evaluate whether or not we have to bring in a third party to go after the vegetation this late fall and early winter. Back to Kiewit, you might recall the DEC had a violation concerning the petroleum tanks, specifically the fact that tanks were on asphalt and DEC's asked for them to be on cement. Kiewit come up with a plan, DEC's approved it, and the concrete's actually been poured. And hopefully that violation will be taken care of over the next couple of weeks. And also just want to mention Kiewit, SMS, and Our Electric are now conducting or coordinating, I should say, winter snow removal plans. The three tenants actually work very well together on site. And that they did well last winter with snow removal, and I expect this upcoming winter will be fine. So that's it for maintenance, unless there are any questions.
I did swing by the site and did see that our substation right there in the center is probably up to 4 foot again.
Yeah, so Everett and Steve from Our Electric are coordinating going after that this fall. And of course, it's a safety concern to make sure it's done properly, so that's our main issue.
All right, just didn't want it to be.
Yeah,
the cooler
no,
temperatures, we
I've
might
sort of been
have
bugging
time,
them.
but-
Yeah, I've been bugging them a couple times, so I have to maybe step it up a little bit. On tenant issues, frankly, all appears to be going well. I will say on SMS, there is less rail activities, so the financial impact of that will reflect in our financials for the fourth quarter. And of course, we continue to have third parties express interest in the site, but nothing to officially talk about this time because we don't have any official offers.
Cars and revenues, what's the product revenue?
Well, you might recall there was that strike up in Canada that was driving our volume down. That strike was been relieved a little bit, so it's just rerouting traffic a
How
little
is
bit.
it?
Still pretty good. In comparison to last year, it's still pretty good. It's just we were really doing well there for a couple of months. Yeah, we found money, good way of putting it. And that's it for the canal side. If there are any questions, if there are not any questions, I can talk about the airport industrial park.
Gentlemen, anything, we've got a lot of moving pieces there, and we're in a good spot. As he did say, the curveball, but at the board meeting, we should have a bigger update for the team.
Okay, two other just updates on Airport Industrial Park. We have been looking at the commercial sign at the on the corner of Queensbury Avenue some date, it's actually 4 signs, the main sign and 3 little signs, which one is very dated, actually has Governor Cuomo listed on it. The other ones, have telephone numbers and frankly look a little ragged, so.
Which form?
That's a great question. So we'd like to take those signs down and, there was an idea of taking the entire sign down. I'm thinking we want to keep it there until we sell the remaining lots or dispose of the remaining lots, but that's of course board decision if there's any desire to take down the entire sign.
No, not the main one. I would keep the main one up, you know, line it, balance credit. But certainly money in the budget to.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't, but I wouldn't do anything with the sign.
That's fine, yeah.
Okay, moving on, just as an FYI, at the beginning of this year, we had 21 lots in Airport Industrial Park Phase 2. We are now down to 11, given the mergers and the dispositions of the lots. So that will translate into less fees, of course, going forward with the remaining lots.
So just, we wanted to emphasize to the team, and we'll mention it at the full board meeting as well, is that we do anticipate more taxes next year, and we've done a good job divesting, and we'll continue to aggressively divest. And if those taxes start creeping up substantially, then the board's gonna have to give us some guidance on selling quickly, which means lowering the price of the last available lots. So just so we want to continue with the board that the team has done a phenomenal job in getting us divested with the anticipated tax increase next year.
And if I could add as a reminder, we have an appraisal underway for the remaining areas, so we should receive the results of that appraisal hopefully within a week or 2.
The red buyer.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. Well, yeah, we do have somebody express interest and is asking for a price, so we will talk about that in executive session.
Do we have an idea of the tax increase that we might be facing?
Not at this time.
No, well, there was some.
I was just gonna say, yeah, we had estimates, but we don't have anything concrete at this point. Yes, from the sewer district. It was, Correct. Yes, yes.
Yeah, I mean, not extraordinarily high,
But still,
numbers, but still, it's, yeah, it does add up. Yeah.
I don't think, yes.
mhm.
That was an overestimate. Right. Yeah.
When do those come out? Just so we have an expectation.
In the beginning of the year, but Josh, my contact there, said that he would get me something later on this fall. So we would have it, prior to the actual bill, the estimate. Yeah, correct.
That's it.
That's it. All right, so any last mulligans on anything canal side or airport industrial park from anybody?
I think one of the quick items I told you last month that I would take a look at the water control structure. Admittedly, I hadn't done that, and the primary reason is when I look across the field that I see stuff that my sensitive skin doesn't like walking through, that I was figured we're gonna wait for fall. So I figured I'd spare you one thing on the same issue, so.
Much appreciated. We have noted for you.
Yeah, it's up there 4 feet or more.
In some sections.
Yeah.
We have a path in there though, at the end of Ferguson Lane, there's actually now a path.
Okay.
We'll show you.
Yeah, I was looking up along the drainage there, so it's up there.
And this goes to our conversation last time about the water control structures, burn is still allowed, such as burn.
Yeah, this is in response to that, kind of.
Good. Anything else? Well, we'll move on. All right, ongoing business, everything under foot. We just show them the check or do it? Kara?
So, they are completed, so they'll be starting their projects. So I don't know when, but we close last Friday. Sorry.
Great, we'll keep that on the full board meeting, mention that full board, and then we'll go up there. Anybody have anything else to add for everything underfoot? All right, Adirondack radiology,
We are circulating documents back and forth, so maybe Friday, maybe early next week, not sure yet. We're closing out.
good, so that one as well should be another closure by our board meeting to reach
Yeah.
the full board.
Definitely medical board. I can't.
Good. Does anybody have anything to add on that project?
Oh, no, I have a new business. I'm sorry. I thought you were asking
All right.
about the next topic.
Anything on any other ongoing business anybody wants to bring up? All right, new business, Chuck.
On the new business, we have received a draft application that the applicant would like to finalize maybe by the end of this week for submission for acceptance at our October board meeting. Won't mention who it is until they actually give us a signed application. Ally and Karen and I are going through completeness review. Right now, it's in decent shape. We've got to get back to them today with a few more points of clarification on the application. And hopefully we'll have an application for the next board meeting.
Can you say what kind of industry it is?
I can say that it is a hotel.
Okay, thank you.
So hopefully we should have that application next week, which gives the full board a full week to review it for our board meeting. And just a reminder for everybody that that first meeting is just to approve that the application move forward, not actually approving the entire process. And then we'll have the rest of the steps laid out by the board meeting, should it get to that. Anybody have any other questions on the draft application? Any other new business, Chuck?
That's it.
Does anybody have any new business to bring to bear? Does anybody have other business?
Would like to say congratulations to uncompanies for
Thank you.
see the board, see the other end, they really better end.
She did mention that. She was excited. She's like, oh, you too. Well, thank you. So we appreciate it. It was a good, the team's doing exceptionally well and,
It's a team.
yeah, it really does. And, we're in a good spot. We're excited and while Amy and I are racing retirement, we're trying to get that next generation to have business partners for her brother. And so that's our game plan. It's good recognition. It was a good week. We opened 2 other stores, KFC and Taco Bell. So actually it's a great week for our company.
Ain't no Popeyes.
Once we stop recording, I can talk about, no. So, yeah, no, we're all are. So, thank you. I appreciate that. Any other business? Any public comments? Any public comments online? Does anybody wish to be heard? All right, moving on. Executive session.
We do have 3 topics for executive session. One is the recommendation from the committee that's handling the real estate services proposals. If you may recall, we sent out an RFP about a month ago. We have received responses and we'd like to update the group of where we've landed as far as our recommendation for full board consideration. We also, as previously mentioned, a party interested in some land over Airport Industrial Park Phase 2. And they're asking for a price. We need to talk about that as a board. And then finally, one of our lessees at Canal Side, we are anticipating the need to modify the monthly lease payment amounts, and like to run that by the executive committee and parking.
And will we be making decisions?
And
I think we will be making one decision.
Correct.
Or two
Oh, one
two
recommendation.
recommendations.
Yeah, full board.
Both of these will need to go to full board.
so we'll have to come out and take an action.
Or do we, okay.
All right, so,
Shall I excuse myself?
no.
So under the exemptions for executive session, those 3 topics would be covered under the discussion of real property that the discussion of the dollar amount in public could impact negotiations and the hiring of a firm or person for real estate purposes.
Good. All right, we move into executive